Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast style episode. I don't
Yay!
remember what number we're on now, but we took a slight break, but now we're back and excited to be talking about this topic that Jeff is also very experienced with, and that topic is homebrewing. So let's get into the questions. So, can you describe what homebrewing means?
Yeah, it's basically making your own gear, making your own radios, making your own test equipment, antennas, whatever. Um, well, at least for me, homebrewing has more the connotation of making your own radios, like transceivers and um, stuff like that. But I'd argue it could also include making your own antennas and stuff, other accessories.
And how did you get started with homebrewing?
Um, it's just something that I've always done. Back when I first got licensed, it was shortly before my birthday, back in, I don't know, eighth grade or something, seventh grade, I forget. And for my birthday that year, my parents got me a 40-meter radio kit. And so I put that together, and that was my first HF radio. And so since then, I've, built plenty more and of transceivers and other accessories and stuff. So it's just, for me, it's been something I've done since as long as I've been a ham.
Interesting. So, it was your parents who actually fueled it then?
Yeah, my Elmer also, I remember building, he had a circuit for a code practice oscillator that I built. So, before I got my license.
So, in terms of actually building a radio, what does someone need to build one?
Um, well, I guess you need a soldering iron and some solder and maybe some simple hand tools. Um, the ones I use most frequently, I got a soldering iron, I got a pair of small needle nose pliers, wire cutters, diagonal cutters, and wire stripper are the most common. If you're going to be making cases and stuff, you might need drills and more tools like that. But if you're just making boards and putting together boards and stuff, then simple hand tools. You don't need any fancy shop or whatever. You can set up in the corner of your desk or corner of the kitchen table and then put it all away when you're done. But yeah, you don't need a whole lot. Don't need a huge um, spend a lot of money to get into it. So it's there's a lot of kits and stuff out there to get you started.
So now let's talk about some of your projects that you worked on. Um, do you have one that you want to start with?
Yeah, well, I mentioned a minute ago, but this is the SW40 Plus that I built back in the, I don't know, 2004 something. It's even got my old call sign on the top, and I should have gotten a screwdriver to take the lid off if you want to see, but it's just a little 40-meter CW only radio, hand key only, so it's not super easy to use when you get used to it here, but it works. It puts out 2 watts on 40 meters. Um, when I built it, there's a capacitor inside that um, that determines what frequency it'll be on, and I built it back when they had the old novice band, so it was on like 40 or sorry 7.1 megahertz or something like that, and then they changed the band plans and the voice segments a bit. So when I got back into radio, I had to open it up, clip out a capacitor, and solder a new one in to move it down to, I forget where it is, probably like 7.03 or so, somewhere in that range, and got a little VXO and stuff. But this is a fun little radio, and um, at the beginning of the pandemic, I actually found there's a company who sells clones of these, so I bought a 20-meter version, which I have in a box somewhere, but it's the same circuit, same parts and stuff. So that's a fun little radio. Um, this one is one of my favorites. This is also for 40 meters. It's the 5 watter from Kits and Parts. I'm not sure they're selling them anymore, but it's a little 5-watt radio, as the name suggests, for 40 meters. This one, a little nicer. It's got buttons so you can control the keyer and stuff. It's got a keyer built in. This one I'll just throw in when I go camping or stuff like that, and it's fun at night. You just hook it up and get on and tune around. This one I wired the tuning potentiometer backwards, so normally you turn it this way, or you can't really see it, turn it that way to go up in frequency, but turn it the other way to go up. So that's slightly annoying, but I just haven't opened it up to fix it. One other one that I use frequently is my QCX Mini, which I have in a little case here. Oh, there you go, with a CW paddle. But this one, if it comes out, everybody's seen the QCX Mini before. This one is for 17 meters, and it's a very clever little design. And I got this one specifically because I have a mountaintop that does 20, 30, 40. And so this one I can bring it and get on 17, which sometimes you get a little better DX. And also, it's just a cute little radio. How could you say no to something like this? And, it takes a bit of willpower not to buy the, what's the new one? The QMX that does digital and CW and multiple bands in a package this size. So it's QRP Labs has got a lot of fun stuff. Some people, you go on eBay and you can get these Pixie kits for, $3 or $5. So I built a couple, and I made a series, which we can link below, describing how it works. But people like to say, get one of these Pixies as a first radio, and well, it does technically work. It's a pretty terrible radio, and I wouldn't recommend these for anything more than soldering practice. If you want a cheap one that's slightly better and is actually usable, you can get the 49er for a couple dollars more on eBay. These are both 40 meter radios, and I have another series describing the 49er, and you can see this one, it's hacked a little. I've added a bunch of elements on the output low pass filter and stuff for which I described in that other video series. But the Pixie and 49er, both good soldering practice, and you get a mostly usable radio when you're done. And I guess part of the thing of homebrewing is, not everything always works out. This is a true SDX, which I have mostly assembled, but there's some bugs in it, and I just got to find the time to go through and figure out why it's not working. And it's been so long, I don't even remember what's wrong with it. And this one I actually cannibalized this board to get it on a different set of bands. But I got all sorts of pieces here that I have to go through sometime and try and get it working, because it would be fun to have it, even if it is not a very good radio, which is what I've been told by people who have working ones. So those are a couple of the transceivers, and I built other things like little pieces of test equipment and antenna tuners and stuff like that. But getting a working transceiver is very exciting. You build it, and you finish the receiver section and plug in an antenna and tune around, and you're able to hear signals on the band. It's pretty exciting to, I built that, and I can listen to people and then finish the transmitter and make contact with it. And it's a good feeling to make contacts with a radio that you built yourself.
How long does it usually take to complete these projects?
Something like the Pixie, you could build, if you know what you're doing, you can build in an hour or two. The 5-watter, for example, is a much more complicated radio, and that one I found a nice guide of how to build and test as you go. So that one took me a couple weeks, building an hour or two here, hour or two there on weekends and days off and stuff like that. And then, finishing it and getting it all in the case nicely took even longer since I'm not a good metal worker and I only have a hand drill and stuff. So it was you know, always wish there was somebody who would just make cases for me so I don't have to deal with the mechanical part. I could just build a radio and put it into a nice case and be done and put it on the air. But nobody's offered to make cases for me, so I got to do it myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could be a collaboration, right? Another opportunity. Um, so how do you get access to these kits and things like that? You just you buy them online, but how do you know kind of what's out there and available to buy? Are they on a forum somewhere, or how did you learn about them?
Yeah, I mean, some of the popular ones just seem to be well known. Like people talk about them in regular ham stuff. Like the QRP Lab stuff is, he's well known. He's been making those for a number of years. If you're on, there's plenty of mailing lists of like builders and QRP type mailing lists. And, if someone releases a new kit, they'll announce it on a lot of mailing lists. Or if you do, like soda, people will talk about new kits and stuff that they like. So, yeah, I guess, QRP mailing lists, homebrew mailing lists, that sort of stuff. And you just, you hear about stuff. And sometimes even just Googling QRP radio kit, you can find interesting ones that you haven't found before. Or type it into eBay or whatever, and AliExpress, see what they're selling.
Do you have another project up and coming? What's next on your list of homebrew projects?
Oh, too many. I got that True SDX to see if I can get that working. I got a Soda Pop, one of the KD1 JV rigs. I have a Paris set that I forget, I think it's working, or maybe it's got low output power or something like that to finish, and, stuff like that. There's plenty to keep me busy on the bench. More than I really need.
More than you have time for, I guess.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So many shiny toys and not enough time to play with them all.
It is interesting and would be, I'm curious to see kind of what the viewers are working on as well, and homebrew projects that other people have done. And it would be nice if, if you had one that you were working on or did work on, you can write it in the comments and, share with everyone. And then that way we can all learn about, projects and things that are out there. So that would be interesting, actually. Just, a forum for people to talk about their homebrew projects. Yeah,
so a lot many out there and some that
international and things like that. And
yeah, I mean the QRP Labs guy is somewhere in Europe or Turkey or something like that.
Yeah, and even maybe people who've just built their own from scratch, without any sort of kit. And so, yeah, interesting stuff. I'm glad we were able to do an episode on this, and I'm sure Jeff could talk for much longer about each of these things. If there's anything that interests anyone in particular, we could do just an episode solely on it, or feel free to reach out to Jeff.
Do more breakdowns of radios and talk about all the parts and how they work and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like Jeff said, he does have the series on the Pixie and the 49er, and those do go into more detail on things, right?
Electronics.
On electronics and things like that. So yeah, those are out there as well. So, well, great. That was a good discussion.
Yeah.
And I think that comes to the close of the episode. So we're just wishing you all, a happy 2024 and, exciting things in the ham radio world, I guess, for all of us this year. And yeah, 73.
Bye.